What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video we are going to be doing another tier list in NBA 2K21 MyTEAM. And this is going to be the last tier list of the month of January, lads. So, it's going to be, that's it. We're done for this month. It's going to be a long one day until our point guard tier list is out on the 1st of February. But, yeah, so anyway. This is going to be the Amethyst and Ruby tier list. Obviously, there is one Sapphire in here, Ronnie Burke. We're going to be taking his Evo, talking about his Evo cards. Okay, so now we are on to the list. Allen Houston. Allen Houston is... let me put him in... C tier? B tier? B tier. Day one, Allen Houston. We will never forget, lads. Let's never forget day one, Allen Houston. The guy was broken. He could fade from everywhere. He was so good, he could hit fadeaways from the 8th row of the crowd. Obviously, the legend of Allen Houston is growing more and more every single time I talk about this card. But nah, Allen Houston, this guy was unbelievable. I've never seen a card like he was more OP than day one Ursan. That is how crazy he is. I think I bought him for like 20k at the time. I think I sold him for like 60. Like, if you knew what you were doing with Houston, and this was back before anyone could shoot. Houston was out here hitting like limitless range fadeaways, and every other card in the game couldn't score wide open threes. It was the maddest thing ever. But Houston, him and what's his name? Him and Mitch Richmond, Amethyst both deserve their place in history, but that's all they deserve, a place in history. They're nowhere near the top 2 tiers of Amethyst, and he might be moved down. So we got Andrea Bagnani. I mean, he's probably like a second-rate, maybe third-rate center. I'm going to keep him A tier right now. I might move him down to B tier, but he's all right. Bagnani's good, but I mean, there are a lot of guys that are a lot better than him. As far as like these tiers go anyway, there are definitely a lot of guys that are a lot better than him at Ruby or Amethyst. So yeah, however, there's obviously one center that I'm not even going to compare the rest of them to, because he's just so much better than the rest. AK. I think I might move a few people down. I'll give AK B tier. I think he's a fantastic defender. Base 29. If you guys don't know base 29, basically it is the best release in the game on next gen. Really good on current gen, like the best release in the game on next gen. He's like, it's kind of hard to explain. He's like better defensive Glenn Rice without the shooting. Not Glenn Rice, Glenn Robinson. But he's got a lot of things going from that. You might not expect, like, he shoots it well. He's obviously an elite defensive player. And he's also quite decent in terms of just movement-wise. Obviously, he's not as good as a Diamond AK, but he's not bad. Aaron Aflalo. Aflalo, stats-wise, badges-wise, should be S tier. He's got half clamps, gold range. He's got basically every badge you need gold. The problem with Aaron Aflalo is that his release, it's Ginobili release, and it's not great. I don't even know if it's worse on current gen or worse on next gen. I don't particularly like it on either gen. But for me, anyway, Aflalo belongs in here in A tier. He's just that little bit off top because of how bad that release is. But he does everything else really well. So if you can get used to Aaron Aflalo's release, you know what? Like, he's not the worst card in the world. He's not bad at all if you can get used to his release. But if you can't get used to his release, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a problem. It is definitely going to be a bit of a problem, because there's always like players that they should be good, but if you can't get their release, it's just never going to be a good card. Even though it is Ginobili on quick, it's still iffy. And we got Bailey Hell. He's like 1 tier lower. He's going to be C tier. And when Bailey Hell first came out, this guy was he was the chicken man, lads. He was so good when he first came out. He's the best power forward in the game. It's just he came out in like week 2. I think he came out in the second batch of Tuesday cards. So he came out like 10 days, 12 days after the game came out. And he's just outdated. Simple as. It was fantastic. Just outdated. And that was the worst pack ever. Those it's not double take, the back-to-back packs. Oh my god. Lamar Odom. Absolute garbage, man. That's all I'm going to say. I paid so much for him, and he was a garbage man. Bingo Smith. I like Bingo. I'm going to put him B tier. He's definitely closer to an AK than he is to an Aflalo. But he's got a good release on next gen LeBron James. He dunks it. He's got gold clamps. Doesn't have range, unfortunately, but he can get it. Good card. Really, really good card as far as budget cards go. Blake's A tier. Or is he S? I was like, I've used this Blake Griffin and he's really good. He reminds me of Kemp. I prefer Kemp, but if you prefer Blake, I'm not going to hold it against you. He is very, very similar to Kemp, and I'm not sure if I'm going to put Kemp in S tier, because like it's obvious that like we all know Dino Raja's the best big man at Amethyst tier, and he's also the best diamond big man in the game. And as far as pink diamond big men are in the game, I mean it's him and Boogie that are the best. So I mean you can't compare these guys to Dino. There is like a separate tier for Dino, and Dino's in it by himself. For Amethyst and Rubies, like the Dino tier, I should have just made a Dino tier and kept Dino in there, because he's literally just a tier to himself. Can I even rename tiers? I can. Okay, so we're going to go Dino tier, we go S tier, then we're gonna go A tier, B tier, C tier. I'm getting rid of a tier. D tier and worthless. Everyone drop down a tier. And Dino Raja, where are you? Where's here? He is in Dino tier by himself. He is literally in a tier by himself. He's in a tier of his own. Then we have got Bobo. Bobo is... What am I talking about? A tier. Bobo is like B or C. He's like worse Amethyst Porzingis, so I'm going to put him C tier. I don't like Bobo. A lot of people do. I don't. I'm just saying that right now. I don't like Bobo in this game. Diao fully badged up. Diao is like this tier right here. He's a little bit better than AK. Like, Diao can get range. He can get clamps. He's got the Pro 3 behind the back. He can get quick first step. And he's also got base 40, so... Yeah, Diao... My Diao is different. My Diao is different to most people's, but I'm putting him on this tier. Man, Aflalo does not look like he belongs here, does he? I might have to move some of these guys down. Brad Darty, or Darty, or however you pronounce his name. I mean, he's fast. He's fast, like. He's not quite Blake level, but is he Bargnani level? I think he's better than Bargnani. I'm going to move Bargnani down a tier. I think he's actually better than Bargnani. He's a really nice center, really fast. Obviously, only gold post badges, but everything else, the guy does quite well. So he is coming in here in A tier. Then we got Bruce Bowen. B tier. He's like a two-guard / small forward version of Andrei Kirilenko. Although Bruce Bowen's fantastic, man. He's fantastic. Base 40, elite defense, 96 lateral. He's got 96 steal, I think. Bruce Bowen, really, really good card. Still usable. Like, you can still get away with using Bruce Bowen. Parsons, I mean, his release is iffy. I'm pretty sure Parsons has a really... Does he have an iffy release? I need to just check that here. Base 36. It's Walt Frazier. I don't mind it. Some people hate it. I don't mind it. It's fine. It's not a great release, but it's fine. It's the Walt Frazier release, so some people love it. Some more people hate it, but it's okay. It's an okay release. CP3B. He's in these this middle tier here. This CP3 here, but this CP3 get into S tier. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Aflalo, you go into that tier as well. I think like 1 KMT for Aflalo, he belongs up in that top tier. So at least our tier list is looking some sort of like a normal distribution. We got Dino by himself. We got no one yet in Worthless or D. But that's going to change right now when Worthless comes, and it's Corey Maggette. He is absolutely garbage. D'Angelo Russell. I mean, you give D'Angelo Russell clamps, he's A tier. He's basically like a downgraded version of that Kyrie Irving card. That Opal or Pink Diamond Kyrie. He's like, he can curry slide. He's got a release that's almost identical to Kyrie Irving release. Really decent on current gen, not great on next gen, but he obviously just needs clamps. And he's also a little bit slow. So he's a significant downgrade in that Kyrie, but you feel kind of similar. Then we got Bertans. I like Bertans. He's like better Parsons. I'm going to put him in the middle, but he's a nice shooter. He's a nice little shooter, and his release is alright. I like Bertans a lot more than most people like Bertans. The Aaron Fox. I mean, badged up Fox is better than CP3. I'm sorry, badged up Fox is better than CP3. And by badged up, I mean literally if you can find range Fox, he's better than Chris Paul. Range Fox is so good, lads. Especially on current gen, because he has the slender player build. Like, he looks like a 12-year-old kid running around the court. His player build is that skinny. But like, he just reminds me of my Pro-Am guard when I use him. But yeah, the Aaron Fox belongs up here near the top tier. Dell, I mean, badged up Dell, A tier. Base 28, cash shooter. You can give him clamps. He's not bad. Dikembe Mutombo. He is a tier below Brad, but I mean, Dikembe does a job, lads. Dikembe does a job. As somebody who likes pick and roll centers, especially on next gen, Dikembe is perfect for that. And I've seen a lot of people have success with Dikembe's diamond card. You know what? This is basically just a diamond. Like, this card to diamond Dikembe is like the equivalent of like diamond pierced, pink diamond pierced. Like, you're not going to notice a difference at all. Okay, then we got Dino Raja. Dino, getting into that B tier. Dino's got super speed on next gen. He's fast. Ultra good length. I might have to move. I'm going to have to start moving people down too. So, Dino go down. He's probably the worst player in this tier. Eddie and Dino are so similar. They were so similar last year. They're so similar this year. It's like Eddie and Dino are always going to be linked. Hopefully we get a glitch to Eddie Curry very soon. But yeah, Eddie Curry, fantastic in terms of movement wise, but he just can't shoot the ball quite well enough or defend quite well enough to be higher in C tier. But he will. I'm telling you, Eddie Curry will be unbelievable. Who could be D tier? I mean, Bowl maybe. I think what bad players. This is the stage during the tier list where you're like, oh, we gotta just throw in some of the bad players into positions. As much as I like, PG's C tier. PG's good. Like, he's decent. This PG especially. Okay, who's going lower tiers? I mean, Parsons, you move down, I guess. Doesn't really offer anything. You can get better guys for cheaper. Way better guys for cheaper. Rudy Tomjanovic, I get it. You got Kobe release, which is pretty good, but you're D tier. You're worthless tier, Tobias Harris. You are so bad at this game. In this game, it's weird because Tobias Harris normally is pretty decent in 2K. Not this card. Scott Skiles, D tier. He's like, imagine this Chris Paul, but way, way worse. I mean, actually, is that a little bit too harsh on Scott Skiles? You know what? I don't think it's too harsh. I think he sucks. But Scott Skiles is better than this Chris Paul. So this CP3 down, Scott Skiles, you go into this tier. I really don't like Scott Skiles, by the way, if you haven't taken that from what I said. Simvular, I get it, you're a big man. He's just too slow. You can't use a Simvular anymore. He's got D tier. He's just way, way too slow to be usable. Anyone else that could be considered? Corver? I mean, if you're on next gen, Corver's a beast. If you're on current gen, he's just too slow to be usable as well. He's a nice little shooter though. If you're on next gen, the guy hits everything. I like a lot of these guys. And I do like a lot of these guys quite a bit, so Bobo's not objectively worse than Dino. You move down. No, you stay. You're really good. I like both of these. Guys, we're just going to have to keep our two lowest tiers small because I like all these guys. Eric Gordon, C tier. He was good for his time. For his time, Eric Gordon was fantastic. It's just he's been outclassed. And he's been outclassed by some players that I'm not even sure if I have on this list. Do I have the likes of Lou Dort and stuff? I missed a bunch of Ruby cards. Like, I missed the likes of Lou Dort. I missed Gary Harris, guys like that. I missed Rex Chapman. So basically, Rex Chapman is just another version of Eric Gordon, and then like Lou Dort, I think belongs B tier. As well as any of those like lockdown Ruby cards. Ursan Iliasova. I mean, Ursan Ilyasova's good. He's like better version of Bagnani. He's like Bagnani with like a +10 speed. And He's a better rebounder than Bagnani, but a worse shot blocker. I like him. He's a little bit undersized for a center, but he runs fast and shoots from deep. So I'm giving him A tier. Fred VanVleet, wherever Chris Paul is. Man, we've too many point guards in his top tier, but literally he's just as good as this Chris Paul. I'm moving CP3 down. I'm moving Fred VanVleet down as well. I think De'Aaron Fox badged up is another level. I think there are a few point guards better than CP3 coming up as well, so I'm going to keep him down. Big Baby Davis. B tier. Big Baby's good. Like, he's underrated. He's like very... he's an Eddie Curry clone, I'm pretty sure, in terms of like his release and everything. So they're not too bad. Like, they both have 38. He's obviously better stats wise. He moves really well. He got a big build. I like him. I don't think he's spectacular, but I like him. Okay, Glenn Rice. I mean, is he better than Korver? He's a slight better Kyle Korver, maybe. C or D. C maybe. He's all right. Hedo Turkoglu. If this was next gen, Hedo to the moon. Hedo S tier. But this is a combo list, and most people play current gen, and I don't think Hedo's any good on current gen. I really don't. I think there's another guy that's just an objectively better card than Hedo coming up as well, and they do basically the same job. Okay, Amon Shumpert. This is a tough one because Amon Shumpert's really good. He's either A or B. I'm gonna give Shumpert B. It's close though. Jack S. Jared Jack Amethyst is probably better than De'Aaron Fox Amethyst. Jared Jack Amethyst is one of my top 10 point guards in this game. I love this card. Give me Jared Jack Amethyst over Kyrie Pink Diamond. Yes, it sounds crazy, but this is just my personal opinion. I'm such a big fan of this card. So, S tier. S tier. Jared Jack to the moon. And we got Valanciunas. I mean, he's not terrible. I mean, he's C. We got him when he was free, that's fine. But like, oh sorry, he's B. Like, he's better. He's definitely better than Eddie Curry and Dino Raja. But he's definitely not as good as Blake. Isaac. This is a tough one. Defense. How many other S tier players do we have here? Not that many. Give me S tier for Jonathan Isaac. I'm a huge fan. You don't understand how much I like this card. That guy greens everything for me when he's left open. He's also an elite tier defender, can dunk really well. For me, it's just he's one of those top cards in this game. Absolutely fantastic player. He's going S tier. Drew Holiday badged up his S tier as well. Again, it's 3 point guards. There's another point guard still to go. But Drew Holiday badged up. Base 29. He's got clamps. He's got insane defense. Drew Holiday is ridiculously good. He is ridiculously good, lads. Don't let him fall under the radar. He's... like, I know not everybody had him. But if you did get Drew Holiday, he's really good. Cat. Worst Bagnani in my opinion. B tier. Yeah, Klay Thompson doesn't quite bring enough to go to S tier because he's just a cone. And he's a pretty good one though. He's a pretty good one, can't lie. Like, you can still get away with having Klay Thompson in your squad, so let me put him in S tier. Porzingis, better Bowl. If this was next gen, Porzingis would be A tier. I'm gonna put him in B tier because most people are on current gen. Okay, Kyrie Irving. Some people swear by this card. I'm not those people, so I'm putting him in B tier. I don't think I can say with a straight face that this Kyrie Irving is as good as Fred VanVleet or Chris Paul. He can't curry, but he's got every other dribbling that... he's got all the dribbling except Curry slide that Kyrie Irving had in... that he has on his pink diamond. Obviously can't dunk it. Same jump shot. I just don't like Kyrie base. I don't mind it on current. I hate it on next gen. But he's still not even better than D'Angelo Russell on current gen. So let me just put him B tier. Lamarcus Aldridge. Wherever one tier below Bagnani is. Actually, he's in that same tier as Bagnani. I prefer Bagnani to him, but he's in that same tier. He's objectively better than Bagnani. Lonzo Ball. Interesting one. I'm putting Ball in B tier. Some people are going to put him in A tier. I hate that set shot with a passion. I hate set shot 9 so much. If he had a better release, I'd have him a tier higher. And there is a guy that I think is literally just better Lonzo Ball that will be a tier higher. But I'm putting Lonzo Ball in the ultra crowded middle tier that is B tier. Markelle Fultz S. Fantastic. Like, he is as good as any of the point guys. We've actually got 4 point guys there, and you can debate any of them as being the best. And you can debate any of them as being some of the best cheap cards in the game. Obviously, in this tier list, you can't even compare anyone with the Dino because Dino's literally in a tier of his own. So, like, the gap between Dino and S tier is the gap between S tier and D tier. Like, that is how good Dino Rash is. But Matisse Thybulle is in there as the representative of the 10 to 15 cards that all do the exact same thing. And he's going in right here beside Bruce Bowen. Matisse Thybulle represents Gary Harris. He represents Lou Dort. He represents guys that I can't think of off the top of my head. But he hits wide open jumpers and plays defense. There's a lot of guys like that. Speaking of guys like that, Michael Cooper is in that category as well. Cooper was so good when he came out though, wasn't he? I remember Michael Cooper with his half range or with his half clamps like in September for 10k MT greening on everybody, or 20k MT when I bought one of him a quick first step Hall of Fame and I was destroying everyone with him. Fun times. Then we got Michael Carter Williams. He is the better Lonzo. Get into A tier. I don't think he's quite the elites because yeah, he's 6'6", so he's tall, but like Fultz is 6'4" and just does literally everything better than him. So he is going into A tier, but he can handle, he can shoot, he dunks, he's 6'6", plays defense. He's basically Lonzo, except he doesn't have one of the worst jump shots in the game. Michael Porter Jr. I mean, clamps MPJ, I'm giving him S tier. Like, if you get clamps on him on current gen, the guy is a demon. If you just use him in general on next gen, the guy is a demon. Like, I am a massive fan of this card. Like, he can score on anybody, and I struggle. Like, I really struggle guarding this guy. I've played against him a bunch of times on current gen. Next gen. I really, really struggle to guard the guy anytime I play against him. And having used him once or twice in current gen, I know when you put clamps on him, he's not good on that gen as well. So, Michael Porter Jr. is going into the S tier right now, lads. Really good player. So now we got Mike Miller. I'm such a big fan of this card, but I can't put him above B tier. He's got the bronze clamps. He's basically like Nick Anderson, but a different release. I think Nick Anderson's better. You know what? I don't know where I want to put him in A. You don't belong here. Boris Diaw does not belong in A tier anymore. But I'm going to put Mike Miller as top of B. And then I'm going to put Nick Anderson in A. So I think Nick Anderson's a tiny bit of an upgrade over Mike Miller, but I don't think it's much. I think they're very, very similar cards. And I think there's a tiny difference between the two of them, which is why I give the edge to Nick Anderson. But they're both absolutely elite three-point shooters. They're both competent defenders, and they both can move really well. Obviously, 2-inch height difference for Mike Miller, but you got gold range and a slightly better release on Nick Anderson. We got Mo Williams. I mean, badged up Mo Williams is legit, or just even Mo Williams on next gen is legit. Out of all the point guards outside of S tier, Mo Williams on next gen is the best. He's got base 4, his jumper's insane, his fade's insane, his handle's pretty good. He was in that group of players that used to be called Dino clones, but obviously they're not Dino clones anymore because 2K changed Dino SIGs and gave them all normal SIGs, which is the weirdest thing ever. But Mo Williams really good. Norman Powell, I mean, he's in that A tier and he's in the upper A tier. Give me Norman Powell over a Flalo, but I know a Flalo's objectively better and more people are going to want the Flalo, so I'm going to put a Flalo higher, but man, Norman Powell's really, really good. And for a free card, he's fantastic. Okay, Pascal Siakam, A. Yeah, he's good. He's just solid. He's just a solid 3-and-D wing. A little bit iffy on rebounding, but he's definitely belongs in A tier. He's like an upgraded version of this AK. Ewing. I think I'm going to put Ewing low A. I think low A or high B. I don't know which one's good for Ewing. And we're going to have, like, we've got so many players in this tier. We're going to have to change up this tier. Alright, Rudy go to worthless. trying to think there's a use for all these guys. Who's going to drop down a tier? PG maybe? Glenn. Bobo, because I'm going to probably drop Cat. Valanciunas. Who else could be dropped down a tier? No, I think I'm good with all these guys. I'm good with the way it looks right now. Richie Guerin. I mean, he's just not it anymore. There's just so many much better cards, and he can't do any behind the back in current gen. He's like a downgraded version of Lonzo Ball. Like, he literally is. He doesn't even come with quick first step. Doesn't come with range. Can't even get range. He's like a downgrade Alonzo. He was really good at it first time though, and so was Ricky Rubio. I don't know. Badged up Rubio belongs in B tier. Rubio is one of the worst releases in the game on next gen. I'm just gonna say that. It's so good on current gen, so bad on next gen. I don't know what the hell they did to it. But Rubio, when he came out, was fantastic. You gotta badge him up, and even badged up, he's still only B tier. Like, he's still not as good as CP3 when he's badged up. Then we got Robert Covington. Rocco is that like 3 and D player. I mean, he's on that level of an AK, isn't he? So he's going into this gigantic B tier. I was about to say, I was like, maybe if I had more tiers, there wouldn't be as many in this one tier. And I still don't think there is, because I'm trying to fill out the rest of the tiers, and I can't think of putting anyone low enough or lower on these tiers. Ronnie Brewer. I mean, he's Norman Powell level. If he had range, he would be not only in S tier, he'd be the best player right now in S tier if Ronnie Brewer could get range. He's basically like the dentist, except he can't get range. He's like a significantly downgraded dentist without range extender. That's basically, he's got all the same animations as the dentist. He gets half clamps and amethyst. Crazy good card. Do I not have Brian Russell on this list? Brian Russell is S tier, by the way. Brian Russell, when you get Brian Russell up to amethyst, he's S tier. I don't know how I forgot him. The guy literally came out yesterday. I genuinely don't know how I forgot the card, but he's S tier. He is freaking quality. And especially on next gen, he's chicken. Then we have got Serge Ibaka. Ibaka belongs in this like second tier of big men, alongside Kemp. You know what? Kemp, you go up. Blake, you go up, because I can't separate these two guys. We've got Dino in a tier of his own, so you guys belong in the next tier down from Dino. So yeah, I think they're better than Ibaka as well. Francis is a tough one, because he's either the best point guard and he's either the best guard in B tier or the worst point guard in A tier. Like, off rip, Francis, you could argue, is better than De'Aaron Fox, but he can't get badged, and this is nothing to do. This is like, he can only get clamp or a quick first step. Can't get upgraded range wise. He can curry. Low A. I like Francis. I like him too much. Put him in low tier. We got Thon Maker. I mean, if we're talking next gen, the guy's A tier. We're talking current gen, the guy's like low B. So let's give me B tier. Gugliotta, C tier. He's fine. He runs. Lack of clamps, not the greatest release. He's like bad Aaron Gordon. I don't mind them by any means. Just like, to be fair, like, I don't mind any of these guys. I like Dino. I like Eddie Curry. I like Eric Gordon. I like Kat. I like Richie Guerin. I like all of these guys, and I like all these guys in B tier as well. It's just I don't believe that Gugliotta is comparable at that power forward position to him. You could argue him over Glenn. I'm not. I love Glenn Space 38. I don't think at the power forward position you can argue him over like an AK. So he's going C tier. Trae Young. If we're talking next gen, he's higher, but if we're talking current gen, he's D tier. He's got like a 86 3 ball. Yeah, he's got goal range and curry slide, but I mean, I put more weight on current gen, and this guy's not good on current gen. I like him next gen though. Tyler Hero. I mean, is he the best of wherever Del Curry is, I guess? Did I put him A? Yeah. Wherever Del Curry is, like, you get a few badge of Tyler Hero, he's good. He's not a budget player, but this isn't budget tier list. As far as Amethyst go, he's pretty good. Wesley Matthews, A tier. Xavier McDaniel, A tier. Wesley Matthews is so nice for a free card that you get for basically nothing. Super easy to get. And Xavier Mcdaniel is one of the best power forward defensive wise. His only problem is that he doesn't get range. He's fantastic. So yeah, that is my tier list. Obviously, 2 of these like sections are 1 tier. So I'm not saying, for example, Brad's better than Ibaka, because I don't believe he is. Also, this is a double tier as well. But yeah, we kind of had to make some room because Dino is literally a tier on his own. Like, if we had enough tiers, I would have just put Dino and then just blank tier and then S tier. Because Dino is literally, he is 2 tiers above every other player on this list. Like, Dino is, he's an A tier overall card. If we made a diamond list, he's S tier. If we made a pink diamond list, he's still probably S tier. Dino is just that dude. So anyway, yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.